Welcome to episode 3 of the Real Estate Pros podcast, where we are here with an expert in the real estate industry that we've invited today, Mr. Jake Steinman. He is a broker owner of his own brokerage, Meta Realty Incorporated. And we're right now in the middle of a huge launch right now in pre-construction. You're an expert in pre-construction.
I like to think so.
Not just that, but other avenues in real estate as well. Avid investor.
AJ, can you just tell the audience briefly how did you get into real estate and how long have you been doing real estate for?
Sure. I guess I've been a licensed agent since 2008. I started working in pre-construction in 2011. I actually got into this because I was working in corporate sales for a technology company that founded an online website that listed pre-construction condos. They needed a broker. I became the broker of record, and it all kind of just spitballed from there.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're a legend because of that website.
I guess so.
So have you invested in other fields in real estate, or is it you just focus on pre-construction?
I've invested in all kinds of real estate. So I've invested everywhere. I mean, I own a bunch of land that I'm in the process of developing. I own some apartment buildings. I buy pre-construction. I have a restaurant and a dog daycare company.
Oh, wow. Nice.
A lot of stuff.
So why did you choose pre-construction? Is it just happened because of that company?
I guess part of it just kind of fell into place the way it did, but I also would never really be, I don't think, a regular sort of buy-sell agent. The way that flows doesn't really appeal to me, going to showings and having to do listings and stage houses. Like, it's not really what I'm into. I like the idea of helping people buy things that can make them money, and pre-con is great. It's like a set it and forget it. You buy it now, you deal with it later.
But as an investor, why wouldn't I invest in lands or commercial?
I think it depends on the capital you have available to you, right? I mean, you're not really buying land with $100,000, whereas you can buy a pre-con with $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, depending on the project. So it's a more accessible investment product for the average Canadian, basically. I think that if people have made a lot of money, whether it's from making money in their job or if they made a lot of money investing in pre-con in the past, that they should absolutely look at other investment opportunities as they scale. Because there are guys out there that have 60, 70 pre-cons, but I would personally rather at that point just own like an apartment building rather than have units all over the place. But most people are never going to get to that point when they have 50, 60, 70 units, right? They're investing for their kid or to add a little a little nest egg for when they retire, 1 or 2 units over their life, maybe a third unit. Pre-con's very accessible for people that make, a decent income.
Yeah. What would you say are the pros and cons of pre-construction? Because as we know, each investment has pros and cons, right?
Of course. I'd say the biggest con is the risk that a project is not completed. That's completely outside of anyone's control. Now, the one nice thing about pre-construction is compared to some other business, like buying stocks, you have no risk of losing all your money because your deposits are protected, as you know. But the big risk is that opportunity cost that, you bought something now, it closes in 2029 and in 2025 or 2026, the builder's like, too bad, we're canceling the building. And you're basically getting your deposits back now with no interest, no nothing. And now you're in a totally different real estate market where prices are up 10 or 20% more or something like that.
Yeah.
To me, that's the biggest risk.
In your experience, how often does that happen?
I think it's going to happen more as the market continues to go through a very tumultuous period. It's not like it's happening every other project, but the risk is there for sure. That's why, we try to steer towards more, accomplished builders that have a track record we can trust.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to put you on the spot, but what would you say the 3 best projects are coming this fall?
The 3 best projects?
If someone is looking to invest into pre-construction.
Out of 40 plus projects in the GTA that's launching in the fall.
So before that, is this normal to have 40 launches in the span of 3-4 months?
I think in 2021 we had a similar sort of launch pace.
Okay.
But it was a different market. That's the thing. It was normal when the market was very hot because every building was selling out so quick and so easy that there was enough energy available to work on all of that.
I think most of these projects sold out.
In 2021.
2021, right?
Oh, absolutely. They all sell out.
Yeah.
Now in this market, it requires a much more consultative sales process. There's no possible way that any platinum agent or whatever can work on 40 projects. It's just not possible. The amount of effort it takes to get every deal is 100 times more. So you have to just focus on a few that you believe in.
Yeah.
In terms of what the best ones are, I won't say what the best is, but I'll say what I think the most exciting are that we're working on. Big fan of Pickering City Center. It just launched. We sold 36 units in the first 12 hours. Hopefully we get to fit. I'm literally probably losing money by talking to you guys and not working, not looking at my phone right now. So you're welcome.
We appreciate it.
I better get a lot of views. I like Park Road a lot. Yorkville from the 1680s. I like Q Tower, long closing. There's too many. There's too many good ones, Boulevard Q, I think, will be very affordable. Joya, affordable. Arcadia District looks nice. I'm sure there's a project for everyone, but, all the ones I named are from big builders that I can trust.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
As you mentioned earlier, there's more risk of cancellations now than there was before.
I think so. From small builders, at least.
Right.
If you deal with a big builder, Lifetime Developments or Center Court, they'll push through. They'll get the project done. If you deal with, Bob the Builder, who knows?
So why would someone invest in pre-construction rather than the resale? Because as we all know, resale is cheaper.
Sure. I mean, that's easy. That's the easy question. I literally, in our own group chat, have posted that analysis. It's interest rates. If you close in this environment, the interest rates are literally killing you. You're renting from the bank. The interest rate right now is higher than the cost of rent on a purchase of a comparable dollar value. So if you buy a $600,000 condo or whatever, the rent on your mortgage is the interest on your mortgage is more than the rent is alone. Forget even repaying the principal, the property tax, everything else. You're literally in a better financial position by buying a pre-construction and renting a house for the next few years. And we did that analysis, right?
Yeah.
It's not bullshit. It's real. So buying, you can say, resale is cheaper, blah, blah, blah. But once you factor in all these losses that you're taking up front, it makes no sense. And then with pre-con, you still have the potential for upside on the back end where you can make appreciation where you're not taking money out of your pocket for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So that's why I think it's better.
You mentioned the word platinum agent. So who is platinum agent? What is platinum agent? And is this in all countries?
The term gets thrown around properly. It gets thrown around loosely. What is a platinum agent? There's no such thing as a platinum agent. There's agents that get preferential treatment from the builders and the listing brokers because they sell volume of units consistently. But what is a platinum agent? It's hard to say because there's some people in that world that are kind of, and then fully. Yeah. Some people have a little access. I think what it means is that, you get invited to a lot of parties.
That's cool.
But it basically just means that I can reliably know that I will be getting units and allocations and information at projects that I want to work on. And that we get early access to the information and we're trained by the builder so that our team can have a lot of success there.
Exactly. Speaking of guaranteed allocations, that's the thing. People have to understand, even if they're willing to buy pre-construction, not everyone is guaranteed to get a unit, which is crazy, right?
Demand, supply and demand. Look at Pickering. They probably, we were crazy. It's absolute crazy on that one. You saw what happened.
Yeah. No, I love Center Court. They do this with all their projects.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they're doing. One question I get a lot from clients saying, let's say they have 200,000 to put down for pre-construction. Is it better to buy two smaller units in a building, or one big unit?
I mean, if you're thinking of buying 2 different units, then why wouldn't you just buy 2 units in 2 different areas altogether? Diversify a little bit. I don't think there's a right answer to that question. It depends. You have to look at the specifics of each building and what's being offered, because sometimes on bigger units there's better incentives.
Yeah.
So you can't answer that question with more information, I think.
I see.
And if somebody does have $200,000 in cash up front that they can just put down, wouldn't it be better to look at assignment sales?
Again, it depends, maybe, possibly. But again, $200,000 is not enough that you're not going to have a mortgage.
Correct.
You show me a $200,000 assignment sale, I'll buy it right now. So if you're still going to have, if you're buying $700,000 a unit, you're still going to have a $500,000 mortgage, it ain't going to be great.
It would still have to be a significant discount off the price, obviously.
And it depends what you want your money to do. If you just want to buy something big in Q Tower and let it sit till 2030 and you don't want to deal with it, that could be great. You have to realize that when you actually close on these, you have to rent them out. Tenants are terrible to deal with. So a lot of people don't want the headache, right? So there's no single right answer to this kind of question. You really have to understand what the client really wants to do. A lot of people think they want to be a landlord, and then they find out.
Do you think assignments are still worth it? Like for someone to buy pre-construction and sell it an assignment? Because I know back in the days it was a strategy to a lot of people.
I think right now is probably the best opportunity to have a chance at good upside. Because right now we're seeing the best prices we've seen in a long time, the best incentives we've seen in a long time. The people who bought at the peak of 2022, they're going to make a bit of pain. There's no way around it. Right now you're seeing the lowest prices. Like when was the last time we saw $1,050 a foot and stuff like this, right?
And it's very competitive with the resale market.
Yeah.
Right?
So now is probably the best time, but the key is if you want to have a good shot on assignment, you need a long closing. Think about it. If you had bought a building like a Q Tower, for example, 7 years. So if we went back from here to 7 years, 2023, that would be 2016. Even with the fall in prices right now, if you had bought in 2016, you're up a lot. If I can remember correctly, 2016, downtown Toronto was selling at like $600 a foot, $800 a foot.
Yeah.
Right? So like, if you buy a long closing, you're pretty much safe. If you're trying to flip and make money in a short term, you're always taking risks.
Because especially with the CRA now, they're increasing the taxes on assignments, right? You have to pay HST on the deposit and on the profit. So it might not make sense.
I just want to get your thoughts on the psychology of people as well. Like during the good times when things are going up, and up, everyone's an investor. Everyone's winning, right? But nowadays, it's like all these investors have disappeared. They're supposed to be looking at the numbers. They're supposed to be looking at the trends, but they don't do what they preach.
Yeah, people act irrationally. People act on emotion. I mean, that's part of what I tell people all the time. Some people you can make them see the light, other people you can't. Not everyone is going to be successful in this world, right? It's the people who can step outside of their emotions and make very rational decisions that generally make a lot of money or have a lot of success in whatever they're trying to do. If you panic and you act stupid, then you can expect stupid results. To me, now is the best time to buy real estate.
Yeah.
Like, full stop. There's nothing else to say about it. You're getting the best prices, the best incentives, the best opportunities, the best ability to beat people up to get a price you want and do whatever you want. When was the last time you could negotiate with a builder? Now we're negotiating deals all the time. Like, take advantage. It's not going to last.
How would you say someone going into pre-construction, how would they develop their investment portfolio to get into something like land development?
Well, I mean, it's time and savings, right? Like you really have to look at how much money a year you're earning. Saving up $100,000 or $200,000 to buy pre-con for some people might take a few years. For other people, it might take a lifetime. So there's no easy single answer to that. But I think the key is I learned this when I was very young: is $1 saved is $2 earned. Because if you're making any decent amount of money, Justin and his buddies are taking 51% or 52% of it, depending on what province you're in. So it's a lot easier to save money than it is to earn more. Be cheap ass, save as much money as you can when you're young and put it into investments, whether it's real estate or stock or whatever your preferred thing is. Get it growing money, right? Do you need to go out and party? Do you need to buy that fancy car? Like, if you save your money now, it pays dividends later.
Yeah.
If you waste money when you're young, you're fucked.
Yeah.
That's like, honestly, you don't need to be super high earner to get rich. You need to save money when you're young because money compounds, right? Your first investment is the hardest. Your second one's a little easier. By the fifth or sixth one, it's shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
And when did you start investing into real estate?
I bought my first place when I was 24, I guess.
Nice.
It was easier times back then.
Well, were you a realtor at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So after you got licensed, you got your first property?
Yeah, I got licensed very young. My family was always in real estate, commercial investing and stuff. And so I just got my license in 2008. Right. But the first place I bought was the place I lived in.
Yeah.
But I knew at the time how to leverage that. This was before everyone's doing HELOCs and the shit now. But at the time, people didn't understand how to use leverage to buy more property.
So how do you do that?
I wouldn't right now in a high interest rate environment, but basically selling properties unless it's your primary residence, every time you sell a property, you have to pay capital gains, which is not great. Yeah. Whereas if you just take the appreciation out of a property by refinancing it or pulling money out, you go to your bank or a financial institution and say, look, I have a place that's worth $1 million and I only have a $300,000 mortgage. Give me $600K, and they give it to you, or they give you $500K or whatever it is. Then you can use that money to buy other investments, whatever they are. Don't use that money to buy a car. Don't use that money, to buy a pretty girl a nice diamond ring.
Yes.
Use it to buy some sort of investment. Now, I'd much rather put that in real estate than stocks and bonds, because I just think, bonds, whatever, fine. But stocks, they can go to zero. Real estate doesn't go to zero. So if I'm leveraging money, it's going into real estate.
What do you think about the rental guarantees?
I don't think we need them, because the rents are going up like crazy right now. Rents are up 42% in the last 2 years. I think I saw a news article yesterday that says Toronto rents are rising $100 per month. It'd be a shitty time to be a renter.
I saw recently there's a builder promoting like a $25,000 buy into real estate with only $25,000 or something.
There's nothing wrong with having partners in this life, but pick your partners very carefully.
Yes.
A lot of people jump in. Nothing kills friendships faster than business, and nothing kills business faster than friendships. So make sure that you should have a proper contract in place with proper duties and responsibilities, proper legal definitions, and proper things that will happen when certain terms aren't met. What happens if one person stops paying? Or what happens if one person defaults on this, or doesn't do this, or doesn't do that? You don't want to be having an argument. You want it to be as simple as, this is what's written on paper, and this is how we handle the situation. Don't rely on a handshake. Even with your own family, put it in writing.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of creating a program where you can bring people together and make them invest together?
Well, that's basically a REIT. I haven't done it because it's complicated.
Yeah.
There's a lot of regulatory stuff around something like that. It becomes a messy world, right? So maybe it's something we look at in the future, but I've got enough on my plate. I can't do everything.
Yeah.
I do know some brokers who have created REITs and they've had success. But as soon as you get into that world, you're an exempt market, regulated product, and it's a very different world. You have to submit reporting to FINRA and all these guys, and it's complex.
Yeah. What about REIT with builders? Because I know that you can also invest with builders.
Yeah, that's So that's a great opportunity. So you have guys like the Greybrooks of the world, and they basically, what happens is they will find a site. Either they tie it up or a developer ties it up, with a small deposit, and then they figure out what they can potentially build there. They then go to their investors and they say, this is what we think we can do. This is the timeline of the project. We need to raise this much money. We need to raise $50 million, and you're going to make an 18% return per year or whatever it is. These are the timelines of the project, kind of deal. They are very good opportunities if you know what the heck you're doing. The problem is that a lot of lay investors are not experienced enough on this financial market side, and they could get themselves into bad projects. So I think what's really important there is to only work with very reputable builders and very reputable finance companies that are raising the money, right? And two is that you need to make sure you have some understanding of finance. You're getting into a different world here. Make sure you actually understand what the heck you're talking about. Some of those can be really good because they can be put in RSPs, so they can be tax-free potential income. And the other thing that you need to be aware of is that they might have very large thresholds. Some of the projects, they're not looking for guys that want to put in 25 or 40 or 50K. They're looking for guys that are minimum 250, 500, $1 million, because they don't want to deal with a million little guys. And you have to realize that, your money's stuck in there. So that can be fine for guys used to pre-con, but it's not like a stock or a bond where you can just say, I want to exit now and get your cash back. You're in there for the 4 years or the 5 years or whatever the term is.
Yeah.
The one other nice thing sometimes when you invest in the funds is that they'll also give you the first access to buy the units if you want to kind of double end the project.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They'll basically put you in their friends and family.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the best one. Less real estate industry, more general success tip. You're on the go all the time. How do you manage your time? You have so many different businesses. What's your secret?
Especially for yesterday and today.
I use a calendar. I mean, it's not rocket science. I just use a fucking calendar for everything. I don't understand. I was just in a meeting with one of my business partners the other day, literally yesterday, and he's very disorganized. I like the guy, does a lot of work, but he's just always a mess when it comes to being organized. He doesn't use a calendar. Use your calendar. This isn't rocket science. Teach you this shit in grade 7.
Yeah.
I literally remember they're like, here's your agenda, use it. If you don't put everything in a calendar, how are you going to stay organized? I don't rely on my memory for what I need to do because there's too many things to do and you will forget things. Every single thing I need to do, if I'm doing it later, I put it in the calendar. Even if it's something as simple as like check on this, payment that went through or something. I just put it in.
But like you keep going. Do you burn out or?
I don't work that much on Sunday.
Yeah.
So Sundays are your rest day.
Like I stop at 7 p.m.
That's your rest day. That's
7 till 7 a.m.
I'm a high energy person. Like I want everything now. I don't understand people that can wait. I need things like I can't handle like taking time. I want everything to be done.
I think that's why pre-construction works for you, right? Because in pre-construction, it's all speed.
Well, I don't care if you make $1 or you're a billionaire. We can't buy more time. I tell people all the time, like, I don't understand how all these billionaires are not spending every dollar they can on anti-aging. Because it's the only thing that is equal for everybody. Like, maybe they get better health care, but they're still going to die just from getting old. We're all going to die from getting old. The only thing we can't get is more time. So when people are like, relax, wait, we'll do it later. Like, fuck that. Later turns into never. Do it fucking now.
I love that. Yeah.
You don't need to be good at something. You just need to actually do it. Like 80% of people that say they have some business idea, no, fuck it. Like 99% of people that say they have some business idea never do it. They find a reason not to. Sit at home and fuck around. Right? Like I said that in the first TNT thing when we gave out like all the leads. There was like 480. I'm like 85% of you are going to go home and never do any of this. And I was right. Like
that's what happened. Right?
85% of them didn't even like follow up to get leads or anything. That's just how it is. People are bums. Sorry if that sounds very negative, but it's true, right? That's our advantage. If you want to be successful, that's a good thing. If everyone was great, everyone would sell one condo a year.
Yeah.
Right? We want other people to be bums.
So you can, it's easier for you to be successful.
Well, it's possible. If everyone was perfect, there would be no such thing as success.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like you have to work hard. Like, what else is there?
Because sometimes I get these days where like I don't want to pick up the phone or talk to any clients. I don't know if you guys get these days.
Go to the gym and beat the shit out of someone and then go back to the office and make some calls.
That's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I love about you. You're always like driven, you're happy, you're super passionate about what you do.
Dude, I don't want to work until I'm 80 years old, right? Like, I don't know you guys. I'm trying to make enough money that I can basically quit by the time I'm in my 40s and enjoy my life.
That's 20 years away.
No, but people are okay. Maybe I work as many hours in my life as other people, but other people want to spread it out over their whole life. I want to get it done in half my life and then enjoy the other half. To me, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the same strategy of like, I saved a lot of money when I was young so I could buy investments. Other people, you want to go to the club tonight, you want to do this? And I'll stay home and save money. When I started the dog daycare, was the first business that we ever owned with a partner. It started off literally, it was a bootstrap business. Like there was no money, there was no like investor. It was literally like doing all the work ourselves. And it's like on Saturday night, like dealing with fucking dogs and bullshit. No employees, no nothing. Now that company is completely self-sufficient. It's been around for 12 years. But people only see now that, oh, you just own this big company that does all this money and makes all this money and does whatever. They don't see that I didn't get to go on vacations and I didn't get to go out with my friends on Saturday nights because we were dealing with fucking dogs at 2 a.m. Like they don't see that part.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
So, everyone has, unless you're just born into money, you have to sacrifice something at some point.
Where do you think, like, your top 3 cities to invest in right now? Where's the next
in the
major
world
growth?
or
in Canada?
I think Toronto will always be a safe bet.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at the New York of Canada. You have to remember that it is the 4th largest city in North America. It's larger than Chicago, and it has very high population growth. Toronto will always be sort of like the blue chip option, but I think Alberta is definitely on the early money's already gotten into Alberta. The graph where it shows like the early money and then like the common investor and then the people late to the party. We're already in the middle of like common to late to the party. Alberta prices are rising like crazy. 2 years ago, I told people buying in Calgary makes sense because it's a cash flow market. You're not going to get a lot of appreciation, but you're going to get cash flow. Now, you're breaking even on cash flow, but you're getting appreciation. Like prices are rising like crazy every day. I wouldn't be surprised when we see single detached houses that are selling near $1 million soon.
Yeah.
They're already in the 7s now.
Within the next couple of years.
Yeah. Third city? I don't know. I don't really like anywhere else in this country that much.
What do you think of Vancouver?
Or Montreal.
I'm not a big fan of Quebec. I'm sure this, again, 10 years from now, if I run for prime minister, that'll get me in trouble. Quebec is way too socialist for me. They have way too many taxes. They're too anti-business, anti-regulated, heavily regulated. Vancouver, very similar right now, very expensive. And again, like, why would you invest in a place that's not pro-business? Alberta is pro-business. It's easy to do business there.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. Don't ever underestimate how having less regulation that shits all over you as a business owner makes a difference for investment.
True. And that's why Alberta has one of the lowest corporation tax, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have the lowest corporate tax. They have the lowest income tax. And crazy, they have the highest standard of living in the country.
Yeah. It's the most livable city in Canada. And the third in the world.
They also have higher average household income or something.
Yeah. This is great. What's next for Meta?
Go back and sell more Pickering City Center in the next hour.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
The brokerage is growing. We're just focused on hiring agents that are talented and want to work hard. We can help them sell more pre-con, but also resell and commercial. And, there's no magic. It's just keep the formula, keep selling. We got a lot of projects to launch and trying to make as much money as we can for all of our team members and help our clients get the best of the best.
I love it. Yeah. If someone wants to reach out to you, where can they
find you?
They should just DM me on Instagram.
What's
Your
your Instagram?
Instagram handle?
JIBSTA210. Jibsta210.
Let's go.